is already lit. Not brightly, just enough. Light resting along the ceiling, even, unchanging, as if it has been here all night and never thought about leaving. The floor is clean, too clean to draw attention. Its surface dull, absorbing sound before it can decide to travel. Walls stretch forward without urgency. Doors set into them at regular intervals. All closed, all quiet, nothing asking to be opened. The air feels neutral, not warm, not cold, balanced, as if the building chose a temperature and kept it there out of habit. A small sign hangs near the ceiling, white letters, black background, directional, useful during the day. Now it only marks space. Somewhere behind the walls, systems continue. Electric, ventilation, distant and steady. They do not announce themselves, they simply remain. The corridor does not echo. It does not swallow sound either. It holds it briefly, then lets it go. Nothing arrives to test it. Light reflects faintly on a metal door handle. A thin line, then gone, depending on where you stand. The door does not move. It has learned patience. Far down the corridor, a corner waits. The turn is gentle, not hiding anything, just delaying what comes next. Time moves differently here, not slower, not faster. It spreads. A security camera sits high in one corner. Dark lens, small red point. Not watching in a human way, only confirming that stillness exists. The ceiling panels are aligned carefully, straight lines, minor imperfections only visible if you look for them. Nothing has shifted. The corridor smells faintly of cleaning solution. Old, settled, no longer sharp. The smell of something finished, not something fresh. A vent releases air quietly, so quietly it almost feels imagined, enough to keep the space from feeling closed. Then it stops, or maybe it never did. The lights do not flicker. They never do at this hour. Consistency is their only task. The doors remain closed, every one of them. Behind some, rooms sleep. Behind others, equipment waits. The corridor does not distinguish. It treats everything the same. The floor cools slightly, not enough to notice with certainty, only enough to suggest that night is still present. No footsteps appear, no carts roll through, no keys turn. The corridor holds its shape without interruption. Somewhere far above, outside this building, the sky begins to change. That change does not reach here, not yet. The corner remains distant. The corridor does not rush toward it. Distance is allowed to stay distance. A soft hum settles into the background. Electrical, unremarkable, easy to forget. The kind of sound that disappears once you stop listening for it. Time loosens. Moments do not stack. They rest beside one another, equal, without direction. The corridor feels complete, not empty. but not ended. Light continues. Air remains balanced. Doors stay closed. Nothing arrives. Nothing leaves. And in this quiet service corridor, before the building remembers movement, before voices return, before purpose resumes, the space remains exactly as it is, holding stillness without effort, allowing the night to pass through gently, without being noticed, until the day takes over as if nothing ever paused at all. The light does not change. It never does. It stays exactly where it is, resting along the ceiling, even uninterested in time. The corridor feels longer now, not because it has grown, but because nothing interrupts the distance. The walls continue forward, unmarked, their color muted by the hour, their surface holding no reflections that matter. A door halfway down the hall releases a soft internal sound. Not opening, not unlocking, just a system settling behind it. The corridor accepts it and returns to stillness. Air moves once, barely. A controlled breath through hidden vents. Enough to keep the space alive, not enough to be noticed twice. The floor holds no footprints. Whatever passed through earlier has already been erased. Sound has nowhere to begin. The camera in the corner remains unchanged, its small red point steady, not alert, not relaxed, only present. Far above the ceiling panels, something clicks. A relay, a timed check. The sound does not travel far. It dissolves before it reaches the floor. The corridor keeps its balance. Temperature, light, silence. Nothing drifts. A sign near the far wall marks a service exit. Letters clear, arrow precise, direction without movement. The corner at the end of the corridor feels closer now, but it does not arrive. Distance remains distance until someone decides otherwise. Time does not advance here. It widens. Moments lay flat, side by side, without pushing forward. The doors continued to wait, all of them. Handles untouched, frames steady, hinges resting in their alignment. Behind them, rooms exist quietly, content to remain unseen. The hum beneath everything stays constant, not loud enough to distract, not soft enough to disappear. It becomes part of the air. Light rests on the floor without creating shine. The surface absorbs it completely, giving nothing back. Somewhere beyond the corridor, the building prepares itself. Not waking, just adjusting. A subtle internal shift that does not disturb this space. The corridor does not respond. It has no reason to. It remains what it is, regardless of what waits beyond it. The ceiling lines stay straight, panels aligned. No movement, no sag. Everything held in place by familiarity. The smell of cleaning solution fades another degree. Still present, but no longer sharp enough to notice unless remembered. The corridor feels neutral, not empty, not full, finished but not concluded. Nothing arrives, nothing leaves, and in this continued quiet, before footsteps return, before keys turn, before voices echo softly against the walls, the service corridor remains unchanged, holding light, air, and time in careful balance, allowing the last stretch of night to pass through without resistance, until the building remembers motion again and the corridor releases its stillness without protest. The corridor does not notice that time has passed. It holds the same length, the same light, the same quiet agreement between walls and floor. The ceiling lights remain steady, no flicker, no adjustment. They have already decided how bright this place needs to be and see no reason to reconsider. The floor feels unchanged, smooth, dull, absorbing everything that might try to move across it. Sound never gathers enough confidence to travel. The doors stay closed, every one of them. Different widths, different purposes, all equally silent. Behind some, equipment rests. Behind others, rooms remain unoccupied. The corridor does not differentiate. Air circulates slowly through hidden vents, not enough to lift dust, just enough to prevent stillness from becoming heavy. The movement is functional, not expressive. A faint hum settles into the background again. Electrical, neutral, easy to forget once it becomes familiar. It does not grow. It does not fade. It simply remains. The far end of the corridor still turns gently out of view. The corner offers no promise, no mystery, only continuation. Distance stays intact. The camera in the corner continues its quiet work. Lens dark, indicator small, recording nothing, and satisfied with that result. A wall panel reflects a thin line of light, only visible if you stand at exactly the right angle. The reflection disappears as soon as it is noticed. Nothing tries to replace it. Somewhere above the ceiling, a system completes a cycle. A soft internal click, a brief acknowledgement, then silence resumes its place. The corridor does not react. It is built to contain, not to respond. The smell in the air has settled fully now. Clean, neutral, almost indistinguishable from the building itself. No trace of freshness, no trace of decay. The floor cools by a fraction, not enough to measure, only enough to sense if you stop and wait. The temperature finds equilibrium and stays there. No footsteps appear. No wheels roll through. No keys turn. The corridor remains unclaimed. Time behaves differently here. It does not move forward. It spreads outward, resting evenly across the length of the hall. Moments Moments do not replace one another. They sit side by side, indistinguishable. A sign mounted near the ceiling marks a service route. Letters clear, arrow precise. It points somewhere that is not needed right now. Light pools gently beneath each fixture, not forming patterns, not drawing attention, just enough illumination to define space. The doors continue to wait, handles aligned, frames steady, hinges holding their position without effort. Nothing presses from the other side. The corridor feels complete, not finished, not paused, simply present in its intended form. Somewhere far beyond these walls, the building shifts slightly. Pressure changes, systems adjust, preparation without urgency. None of it reaches this place. The corridor remains insulated from purpose. It does not anticipate footsteps. It does not prepare for voices. It holds stillness as its only task. The hum beneath everything becomes almost imperceptible, not because it fades, but because nothing competes with it. Silence and sound reach agreement. The ceiling panels remain aligned, straight lines, minor imperfections unchanged. Nothing sags, nothing drifts. The light continues. The air remains balanced. The distance holds. Nothing arrives, nothing leaves. And in this long continuation of quiet, before the building commits to waking, before movement is required, before the day asks for participation, the service corridor remains exactly as it is, holding light, holding air, holding time in suspension, allowing the last deep stretch of night to pass through without interruption, until motion returns naturally, without announcement, and the corridor releases its stillness as if it had never needed to hold